Hey folks, happy Friday and good afternoon. Welcome to Friday's Market Wrap-Up here at Top Gun Options, or TGO. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. I'm the CEO here at TGO and Strike Fighter Financial. Yesterday afternoon, we had an Analyze Your Trade session and debrief. We do these every Thursday at 1 o'clock with our members. Decided to open that up to the public, and we covered a FXI bear call spread. That was a bear call spread on China, which is interesting because it's up 2% today, and I would sell even more into this little pop. And we're going to talk about why FXI had a little bit of a pop today, but it is heading downhill, and it's going to head downhill fast, folks. We've been having an absolute blast for the past couple weeks, past 4 weeks. 4 shots, 4 kills, over $8,000 in weekly options notional profits there, and we're looking at to add another $1,600 to that victory today. We have an SPX bear call spread that we placed Monday afternoon in our weekly options live trade brief, the 2820, 2825 bear call spread. That's looking to capture about $1,600 by the close this afternoon. Really doesn't look like the SPX is going to be getting off the mat. I don't see any late afternoon rally in the market. The SPX is essentially flat. Well, it's up 5 right now, but we're not going to have some massive rally into the close on a Friday, folks. The market doesn't like being long going into the weekend. We got tweets, we got interviews, we got world events, and I really see the SPX getting weaker throughout the day. So a good-looking weekly options trade there. To watch yesterday's replay, all you need to do is head to go.topgunoptions.com/replayft. And the FT, all that stands for, folks, is full throttle. So once again, to watch yesterday's replay, head to go.topgunoptions.com/replayft. Now, I break down the full details of this trade in yesterday's webinar, but if you're on our email list, just check your email, because I also sent out the screenshots of the actual trade. The trade setup as well as the risk metrics, right? It's all about managing risk, knowing your max risk, and all of that. So actually, I sent that in an email yesterday. So check in your inbox if you want to actually see what the physical trade looks like. Otherwise, you can watch the replay, and it's probably down right here around the, hour and 15-minute point. So really good session yesterday. We also, real quick, folks, in This is America 2018 news, this is the Mike Murphy Memorial up in Lake, Ronkonkoma, New York, where Murph's from. This is Michael Murphy. This is, if you've seen the movie Lone Survivor or read the book, that's Mike Murphy. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions in Afghanistan. Young Navy lieutenant, shot, killed by Taliban forces while trying to save his SEAL team. This is what people in this country do to his memorial. Makes me furious. Now, I saw online that they did catch who did this and are going to have a news conference at 11:30. But folks, this is America, right? This is America. So you got these folks, and then you got these folks outside of Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters supporters burn American flag outside her Capitol Hill office. There's America, folks. It breaks my heart that we are this polarized, and the middle is kind of evaporating. But what type of country do you want to live in? This one? This one? I don't. I really don't. 18, 19-year-old kids today, have to debate which bathroom to use. 18, 19-year-old kids storming out of a Higgins boat on Omaha Beach in a withering machine gun fire. Don't ever forget, folks, that a generation raised to disrespect their country will never defend it. Really worried about this, folks. All right, now let's talk China. Let's get into the markets here. So China, last week I warned you, folks. The Chinese said, yeah, we're going to. President Trump blasted $34 billion a couple weeks ago. Last week, before jumping on the airplane heading to NATO, he blasted $200 billion more. China said, we're going to respond, not just economically, which is a pretty interesting threat from China. What are they going to do? Hack in all our stuff? They already are. Are they going to steal more stuff? Are they going to cyber attack? This is getting uglier, folks. This is why this whole FXI is up 2% today. Well, they devalued the Yuan, and look what happened to the dollar. So I get this little bit of a pop. This ain't a good-looking chart, folks. An implosion here, trying to hold on to this like 41 level on the FXI. And here's yesterday as it got pounded. A little sign of life today. This ain't going to save it, folks. This is going to get uglier. So, President says falling Chinese currency at the core of the trade conflict. So now they're really starting to play some games here, and this is only going to get uglier. So the dollar obviously is going to tumble on that. China or Trump blasts China, and they also he blasted the EU. What happened the other day to Google? Google got hit with like a $5 billion antitrust fine. So China, EU, he also blasted the Fed. And I love the dude, he just trolls liberals, folks. I mean, the guy's great. The Fed, the independent, and this. Guess what happens to independent agencies, folks? Like the FBI or the Fed. The Fed ain't going to listen to the president, folks. They get their charter. Jerome Powell testified this week. He's a good dude. The president appointed him. They get along. But the president's doing. He does a lot. His bite is a lot stronger than his bark, folks, to be honest with you. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of volatility. I mean, the Dow was down. We smashed at the open here, and volatility went through the roof. We have a VXX trade trudge on in one of our portfolios that was looking good. Now it's not. But the day ain't over yet, folks. Remember the whole 2 to 3 o'clock. Traders in New York and Chicago go get their liquid sandwiches on for lunch. We might have an afternoon sell, so I'm still holding that VXX trudge. But anyway, folks, this is not good. Last week, Steve Mnuchin, our Treasury Secretary, said what? The talks are stalled. We're not talking to China anymore. That's bad. Back here, folks, this market went full freak mode on what? Fears of a trade war. We're actually in one, and you're telling me this market's going up? So not only did Steve Mnuchin say things ain't good, Larry Kudlow, who was brought from CNBC to be the market whisperer, right? To say, hey, the adults are talking behind the scenes. The president can bluster, but I'm an adult. I'm behind the scenes. We'll figure it out with China. Yesterday, it ain't going good. We're not figuring it out with China. The third Manny, Mo, and Jack that came out is Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro is like the head of the president's National Council of Economic Advisors, or whatever the hell his title is. He's an economic heavy in the Trump admin. You ready for this? Trump trade advisor Peter Navarro. It's a zero-sum game between China and the rest of the world. He said we're at war with China. Or Steve Bannon. Here's the fourth guy, Steve Bannon. Former Trump advisor. We're with China. Love or hate this dude, he's right. Same thing with Trump. Love or hate the guy, he's right on a lot of issues. You might not appreciate the delivery or the nuances, but I'll take respectful truth over artificial harmony, over 8 years of artificial Barack Hussein Obama harmony when things actually got worse. We've been in an economic war with China for decades. The fact that the president's actually saying we're in one and we're gonna fight back is causing people to freak out. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch yesterday's session, you got to watch the replay. This thing's going to get pounded into the dirt. The PBOC, the People's Bank of China, has more or less said, hey, we might have to step in here to save capitalism. You ready? We are nearing the pain point triggering the PBOC put, meaning the PBOC is maybe sort of thinking about getting involved in capitalism. You ready for this? Again. When's the last time they did that? Look at this euphoric rise in the FXI. Remember this? This was their their .com bubble, folks. This was their pets.com and stocks only go up. Everybody remember that? Then what happened? The market absolutely imploded. What happened on the way down? The PBOC got involved, the People's Bank of China. No more short selling, no more trading on margin. The Chinese government arrested about 200 journalists who were writing bearish articles. So if you're reading this headline, like, Wiz, why would I get bearish on the FXI? Because the government's going to get involved. Folks, it's just like market circuit breakers. If the market's going down and all of a sudden they stop trading, like, all right, trading's halted because it's going down so fast that we're going to put the circuit breakers kicked in. All that does is give people time to think and to panic more. Holy crap, the PBOC is getting involved? It must be worse than we thought. And then when the trading resumes, then we're really going to get smashed. So I'm sticking in. If you didn't get in that FXI trade yesterday, it's at an even better price today. I absolutely would add to this. And to my members, like I've briefed you, It is bearish double vertical time on China. We are, folks, trade wars can lead to shooting wars pretty quickly. We all know that Barack Hussein Obama did zero. Now, he lied to us, folks, right? We're going to pull out of Iraq. He created ISIS. We're going to pull out of Iraq, leave nothing there, and pivot to Asia. That's where the threat is. He did nothing. China, over a year, 2 years, did what? They picked up a bunch of dirt from China, sailed into the middle of the Pacific. When it was low tide and a bunch of atolls surfaced, they dumped all the dirt, built runways, and said, that's China's border now, 600 miles into the Pacific. What did President Trump do last week? He sent 2 U.S. Navy destroyers sailing right through the middle of that. This ain't China, folks. So this is the sleeper story. You can sit here and say, oh, earnings are kind of not too hot, not too cold. Everything's great. Folks, don't forget in November, we have an election coming up. So campaign season is going to really start heating up next month and into September and October. And we have Iranian sanctions going back into effect in November. What did China say the other day about sanctions going back into effect in November? Not only do we not care about your sanctions against Iran, we're going to buy more oil from Iran. So listen to me, folks. The market only cares when it cares, which means what? You're going to wake up one day and the Dow's going to be down 1,000 points. Renewed trade, or actually we're in a trade war. So this is what we do here at TGO, folks. I give you intelligence briefs, folks. We lead the market by days, weeks, and sometimes months. And we've been nailing it. Not only did I predict this dude was going to win, I predicted a market rally of 20, 25, 30%. What happened? The dude won and the S&P went up 23%. Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan all said that Hillary would win, and if this dude won, the market would crash and the economy would implode. Wrong. So, and I also predict this, folks. There ain't going to be no, was it blue wave? We will have a red wave. Not only do the Republicans keep the House and Senate, they're going to add seats. What are they going to campaign on? Getting rid of ICE? Are you kidding me? Hey, Democrats and liberals, you're spelling ICE wrong. It's FBI. The only government law enforcement agency that needs to go is the FBI. It's rotten at the top. The ICE stops drugs, human trafficking, terrorists. Yesterday, the former head of ICE said, on average, we stop 9 terrorists a day from entering this country. And Democrats want to get rid of it? So the Republicans tried to call their hand the other day and vote for a resolution supporting ICE. What was it, like 150, 35 voted obviously against supporting ICE because, 50 voted present, meaning they didn't want to go on record. That's the type of cowards we have leading this country, folks. I've had it. This country is really starting to worry me, folks. In Elon Musk news, 20% of Tesla Model 3 orders have been canceled, and this is in the New York Post. When you see this type of headline, Elon Musk's bizarre tweets are raising red flags on Wall Street. That ain't a stock you want to be in right now, folks. Actually, it was right here. This was actually the lead story on the Drudge Report this morning was Musk meltdown fear. And why are thousands of Teslas sitting in a field in California? Folks, this thing, just like Facebook, the only way either one of those companies survive and get off the mat is when, not if, the CEO resigns. Put Elon Musk, put Mark Zuckerberg in some head booger eater role, CEO of booger eating. They don't have to necessarily, quote, leave the company. They're not good skippers. They're great entrepreneurs. Awesome dudes to start a company. They have big brains. There's a completely different skill set required in running a company than there is what? Coming up with an idea to start one. So keep your eye on Tesla, get the popcorn, folks, and enjoy. So we predicted, here's our golden arches rally, right? There's the big M bouncing off the 50-day, bouncing off the 50-day. As I predicted, I'm market neutral to slightly bearish. I said, take this part of the S&P 500 in May and copy and paste and put it right here. And that's exactly what's going on here. We have energy earnings next week. We have FANG earnings next week, even though Netflix got obliterated this week on weak subscriber growth. Make sure you have your hedges on, folks. This thing, Obviously, the market can remain irrational longer than you can stay solvent. That's why we hedge. That's why we have a volatility hedge. We have an S&P 500 hedge. We fly around this market with an injection seat, okay? And to learn more about what we do here at TGO, just go here. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/replay FT. That means replay the full throttle training from yesterday, Wiz. And if you're ready to go, if you're all set, all you have to do is go to our homepage and you can take a 2-week trial, man. Just scroll down if you're a skier. Even if you're not a skier, you're probably a smart person. If you're interested in trading options, beginner, intermediate, advanced, $14, $28, and $38 trials. If that's your last $14, $28, or $38, don't do it. And you most likely shouldn't be trading options. Advanced doesn't mean it's like take some 500-pound brain. The advanced, all that is the shorter dated options, those weekly options. So for example, the S&P 500 trade that we were looking at, we put Monday afternoon, and it's going to expire today unless we get some out of the blue rip your face off rally, which I don't expect. That's going to make $1,600 on limited risk just this week. So that's what advanced means. You get access to our medium dated portfolio and also our very short, tactically focused weekly options portfolio. So I strongly recommend you this one for, the shot of 1942 I'm going to do down on Las Olas in Fort Lauderdale at happy hour today is more than this trial. So if you don't see the value in that, folks, stick to drinking 1942. Okay, I got to run. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll see you for Monday's Market Outlook. God bless.